What a great season this has been.
Very fun. I know. Very fun. Very challenging, but immensely fun.
And your character has grown so much, and it just in this season really did show. What was it like to bring that character and change and get back to where she started?
You know, I feel like there's no way for her to get back to where she started, because how could any of us get back to where we started in her situation or predicament? But I think that she does somehow, and it's a testament to her and the writers, not to me really. I just kind of play her as honestly as I can. That she's able to go through this experience and all of the things she's gone through, sexual abuse, identity crisis, like abortion, all of these horrible things that most of us don't experience in an entire lifetime, let alone within the span of however many years this is transpiring. I feel like she ends up metabolizing all of this and comes out of it on the other side as someone who finds her powers again, which is reflective of finding herself again in a situation where most of us would be down the rabbit hole of identity crisis and not be able to come back up, I don't think.
And it was such a great storyline. Loved it, especially.
Fortunate. I felt very fortunate. The writers are amazing. Yeah, I feel lucky.
And I love the fact of how the show brings real world incidents where a lot of superhero shows are very scared to bring in too much of the real world, and this one really does bring a lot.
Yeah, I don't think that we can kind of get anywhere by playing safe, and that's also speaking from the perspective of someone who just wants to be an audience member and watch things that don't play it safe all the time. But I look at it like purely from the perspective of my character, from a micro perspective, right? And yeah, the real life things that we parallel are things that I think need to be exposed and said, and I feel, again, fortunate to be at the receiving end of these writers and the things that they choose to shy away from versus not, and I think we usually don't. And we usually don't, honestly, not to make us sound like we're almost philanthropic or charity workers in our endeavors, but these writers write in a way that I know this to be true. They look at things and they think, well, what's safe and what is going to guarantee us staying in a safe zone versus what will benefit the world in some way, whether it be via catharsis or levity. And they always choose to kind of accomplish what we originally set out to do, which might not be accomplished effectively or properly, but it is the earnest motivation, which is to leave the world with some more questions that could lend themselves to more nuances that are present in our society, which is all you can do, really.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing I gotta bring up, Hall H, being here since day one, doing now, and the change and the growth and the people who love this show.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't really think about it that much, because if you do, you're going to step onto set and you're going to be like, oh, I'm an actor in a character and I'm just playing these false storylines, so I can't. And it doesn't take effort to not absorb it in a way that consumes me. It just, I observe it, in a way that allows me to maintain gratitude and just feel like, God, the show that we have worked so hard on is translating enough to garner this level of attention, and that is something that doesn't happen all the time. It could have easily not happened because there are so many factors at play, and this happened to work, and we're so freaking lucky. So it's awesome.
And before I let you go, we have we're almost towards the end. What are you hoping you see how your character will finish her story?
You know what? I want to beat someone's ass again. I want to beat someone's ass again who messed with me. On behalf of Annie, because I get very protective of her, I want to show people, I want to continue to surprise people in terms of Annie's strength and tenacity, of course, but I want to surprise people in the way that she navigates scenarios, and that entails a good dose of revenge, but through a way that will inherently happen, just because with the Deep, he just basically threw a psychological and physical punch at her, right? And so she had to defend herself, and she ends up, beating him and proving who's the most powerful. It needs to happen in that way to reflect who she is, but she needs her revenge. There's a lot of revenge talk, and there are a lot of things about vindictiveness that I don't like. I don't like it at all. So arbitrary vindictiveness is not the way to go, but it's an earned moment of retribution that she deserves. She deserves more cathartic karma or karmic catharsis.
After the way this season ended, I could see that happening.
Fingers crossed. I mean, that's all I want. That's all I want.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you
stopping
so
by.
much. Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Love the show.
Thank you.
Continue
I appreciate
the great
that.
work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.